Massive Ego was a British dark wave musical group formed in 1996 by singer Mark Massive, also the owner of Public Disorder label. And Andy J. Thirlwall, the band has changed its sound and image since its formation, the original releases being mostly covers in a Eurodance high energy style. Massive and Thirlwall later parted ways, and Massive searched for a new musical direction for the band. Collaborations with Empire State Human and Leah Organa and Electric Prince were the start of the darker sound for the band. The band joined alternative German label Out of Line Music in 2015, with the lineup Mark Massive, Oliver Frost, Lloyd Price, and Scott Collins. Their debut album for Out of Line was released on the 17th of February 2017. The current themes of the songs center around the darker side of life, depression and anxiety, death, suicide, love, sex, and vampirism. In March 2022, Massive Ego announced that they were breaking up due to health issues and personal circumstances. The history of Massive Ego. The formation of the band and nightclub school, 1996 to 2010. Massive Ego was formed in 1996 with the original band members Mark Massive and Andy J. Thirlwall fronting the band from the start. Ex-model and dancer for Boy George's 90s band Jesus Loves You and Mick Kinky. Mark joined Easy Posse as a dancer before they released their single Everything Starts With an E on Boy George's small independent label. More Protein. The label is called More Protein, Mark went on to DJ and co-curate London's Act Art events for several years. Dan Black and Stuart Barnaby Moffat joined the band's lineup in the same year. The band performed their first live gig in January 1996 at Club Skinny at the headquarters in Camden, one of two nightclubs along with Arcadia and Soho, which formed the core of the Romo scene. On the 12th of October, Massive Ego were featured on the cover of the Boys magazine. In 1997, You Think You Are a Man, a high-energy cover of Divine, was released as the band's debut single. In 1997 and 1998, they performed at Summer Rights Fest in Brockwell Park, Brixton. Planet Earth was the second single, released in 1999, a cover of Duran Duran. September 2000 saw the band playing their first Pride Festival in Nottingham. 2002 saw Steady Eddie Orange Dasser join the band on keyboards. Steady had previously been in Lee Bowery's band Minty. The Offset, Levy on the cover, and his cohorts. Okay, Levy, I don't know who Levy is. Steady has previously been in Leigh Bowery's band Minty, The Offset, as well as his own bands Elizabeth Bunny and Sweetie. A third single, My Heart Goes Bang, Get Me to the Doctor versus Miss Dusty O, a Dead or Alive cover, was released later that year. A radio edit of unreleased track Murder was the B-side of the single and featured Steady on guitars as well as synths. Dean Bright, ex Dead or Alive, also joined the band that year. Bright was also a fashion designer whose credits included the purple coat worn by Pete Burns in both the video for You Spin Me Right Round Like a Record and on the cover of the album Youth Quake. Oliver Frost joined the band in 2004 on keyboards. Massive Ego played Brighton Pride in the same year. In 2005, Steady committed suicide. The song Low Life was later written as a dedication to his memory. The long-awaited debut album, Nightclub School, was released in 2007. This included all three of the previously released singles. The album consisted mostly of covers, but also had original songs such as Murder, Fight the Feeling, Wrecked, and Nightclub School. On the 13th of March 2009, the compilation Master and Servant was released. It featured 11 of 12 tracks from Nightclub School, plus 3 new tracks including the single Sex Drive, the second Dead or Alive cover released as a single, on the 30th of October later that year. Massive Ego played Pride London in 2010. Anton LaVey. Ah, okay. Yeah, I just got that joke. Okay. Collaborations and a change of direction. In 2011, Massive began searching for a new musical direction for the band and released the single I Idolize You, written by Massive and Thirlwall. It marked a darker electronic and industrial sound. Lyrically, the title track of the single was complete departure from their previous releases and centered around the darker side of fame. In 2012, Massive began collaborating with Irish electronic band Empire State Human. A cover of Hazel O'Connor's 8th Day was released digitally on Halloween later that year with a music video to promote the single. All profits were donated to Friend, a farmed animal sanctuary in Kent, United Kingdom. 2013 saw Massive collaborating with the Belgian duo Leah Organa and Electric Prince, writing and performing vocals on their track Dead Silence, released on the 20th of February via Black Leather Records. 2 digital singles were released via Bandcamp's site Devil in Disguise, originally released on the I Idolize You single, and the previously unleashed I Like Boys Leah Organa Electric Prince remix, both on the 9th of July. 2014 saw the first collaborative release with Empire State Human, Sound of the Download, was released as a digital single on Massive's own independent label, Public Disorder Records, on the 4th of February. This release saw Massive venturing into the Britpop genre. On the 25th of August, a second collaboration single with Empire State Human was released. Animal Rights Human Wrongs was a modern take on the animal rights song, with proceeds going to the charities Saving Strays and Sarajevo and the Mayhew Animal Home in the UK. The track Generation 5 was released on the compilation Fuel for the Machine. On the 20th of October, a new EP was released. Lowlife was a release of further collaborations with Empire State Human, featuring vocals by Maggie K, Demond of Scarlet Fantastic, as well as remixes. A video was released of the title track for the EP. Massive Ego played Brighton Pride Again. The signing to Out of Line and Beautiful Suicide. Mark continued to look for a darker sound for the band, and after the modification remix done by Lloyd Price x Sige Sputnik for the I Idolize You single in 2011, he joined the band in 2015 on keyboards and programming. An EP was put together for a release through the band's new label, Out of Line Music. Before the release of the new EP, the modification edit of I Idolize You was released on Out of Line's Electrostorm Volume 6, marking it as the first official release on the new label. Noise in the Machine was released on the 24th of July 2015. It features remixes of I Idolize You, Dead Silence, Generation 5, and Low Life from the Frixion. Lloyd's side project, Aesthetic Perfection. Really? That's his side project. No wonder you fucking requested that shit. Cool. And Leather Strip. 2 music videos were released to promote the EP I Idolize You, Modification Edit, and Dead Silence Rising Frixion Mix. Scott Collins joined the band on keyboards and programming later in 2015, and they began work on a new album, which was recorded throughout 2016. The new lineup performed their first gig together at London's Electroworks on the 30th of January 2016. In the new lineup, Frost moved from keyboards to percussion. They performed new tracks from their EP as well as tracks from their upcoming new album. 2 new tracks were later released, Drag Me In, Drag Me Under, on the Out of Line compilation series Electrostorm Volume 7. And Out of Line on the Electronic Saviors compilation series Electronic Saviors Industrial Music to Cure Cancer Volume 4. On the 20th of May, the Matt Pop remix of Raining in the Machines was released via Bandcamp, with all profits being donated to Norton Animal Rescue Foundation, set up by Gary Edwards in 2010. The band performed at an Out of Line Weekender 2016, opened for Blut Angel at their Nemesis Open Air Festival. And at Infest Festival, their last performance of the year saw the band return to Electroworks on the 10th of September. On the 1st of December, Massive and Collins both contributed to a track by multimedia artist Cristo on her single Malfunctioning Me. With Massive contributing lyrics and vocals, and Collins adding synths and electronic guitar, the 2nd of December 2016 saw the release of Blut Angel's single Complete, which featured the Massive Ego remix of the title track. It was the lead single from their 10th album, Elite Beat. The title of the new album was announced in a Christmas message from the band through the social media accounts. Beautiful Suicide was released on the 17th of February 2017. Featured vocalists including Chris Poe of Blut Angel, Maggie K. Demon of Scarlet Fantastic, German Gothic rapper Beelzebub, and Jean Serene of the Friction. Photography for the album was done by the 80s photographer David Levine. The Beautiful Suicide version of Low Life was featured on the Out of Line compilation Electrostorm Volume 8. This is the third consecutive feature of the compilation series. In April and May, they supported Blut Angel on their Elite Build tour. They also performed at Amphi Festival and Wave Gothic Triffen 2017. Later in the year, they played Whitby Goth Weekend and the second half of Lit Build tour. Lit Build. What does that mean? Mission statement. Okay. On the 9th of November, the band released an official statement of their website and through social media that Lloyd parted ways with the band due to work and family commitments. In 2018, the band supported Covenant as a part of their UK tour in March. In April, they returned to Whitby to headline. Later in 2018, they played again at the Out of Line Weekender and Mera Luna Festival. To celebrate a year since the release of Beautiful Suicide, the band released a Nothing But a Void via their Bandcamp page. It featured two previously unreleased tracks from the album's recording sessions. Later in September, they supported Solar Flake and entered the studio to record the follow-up to Beautiful Suicide. And in December, they headlined a Black Massive show in London. The new album's title was revealed in February 2019 as Church for the Malfunctioned, and that's the album we will be doing today. Massive Ego began their support of Blut Angel in the same month of the first half of their Ungot tour. In March, the album was made available for pre-order, which revealed the release date of 26th of April, and the track My Religion is Dark was made available to buy via iTunes. Digital Heroin was released 12th of April with an accompanying video. In January 2020, Massive Ego went on a double headliner tour with label mates Ashbury Heights during the COVID-19 pandemic. Touring was canceled. During the COVID-19 pandemic, touring was canceled for various festivals, including Plage Noir, Out of Line Weekender, and Castle Party. With being unable to tour, they collaborated with Blut Angel on a new single called Nothing But a Void, released on the Friday 13th of November. Massive Ego was also featured on Ashbury Heights' song One Trick Pony, released in late March 2021. In September 2021, they played HRH Goth Festival, their first show since the pandemic, featuring new songs from the upcoming EP, The New Normal, including the single You Will Comply, which was released the 1st of October. The band lineup changed with the live performance, reintroducing Lloyd Price after the departure of Scott Collins. As of January 2022, former Rosetta Stone member Pearl Young has joined the band lineup. The name of the band was thought up by Mark as an iconic wordplay on his personality, compared to what was expected of him as being a model. Seeing how most models with being in the public eye were focused on their image and how they portrayed themselves as being larger than life, with most buying into their own hyped up personas and developing an ego that matched who they had convinced themselves that they were. That sounds familiar. The final members are Mark Massive on lyrics and vocals, Oliver Frost on percussion, and Lloyd Price on keyboards, programming, and music. The former members are Annie J. Thirlwall, Stuart Barnaby Moffat, Dan Black, Eddie Orange Dasher, Dean Bright, and Scott Collins. Discography is as follows: Nightclub School, Beautiful Suicide, and Church for the Malfunctioned. We are going to listen to the last album ever produced by this band. Without further ado, the first track is called The Last Sunrays in June.
Drive past the Regent on their way back into town. Ice cream yellow top is melting, mourns the pier they knocked down. Gone were the dances, the pie served up with peas, and the cotonut still standing, but now aged by the sea. Final tango around the pier, a brass band takes the stand. It's still ringing in her ears as she held on to Harry's hand. Lost sunrays in June. Lost sunrays in June. She stands like an angel on the pier. She stands to their tunes. Remember memories if you're able, before they fade away too soon. When an angel's heard her singing, carried her voice across the
It's got a bit of that trance in there.
For the call back to the sea.
Nation. Reminds me of BNB Nation. That's what it reminds me of. Like immediately, BNB Nation. This is the roots of industrial. This band is the roots of industrial. So I can't wait to listen to this whole thing. Very interesting. So my thoughts on it. Very, very weird. I feel like this is tech goth. This is techno goth here. I hear some elements of techno. I hear obviously industrial, right? It's gothy. It's very techno. It's dark wave. Yeah, I hear it. I like a good band to actually compare this band to would be the Birthday Massacre. And that would probably be the best band. And VNV Nation is also dark wave. So those two bands are kind of what's coming to mind so far. I want to listen to a little more of the album, and then we can make our final judgments on the influences and stuff like that. I've never actually listened to Skinny Puppy before, so maybe they're an influence. They could be. I definitely hear some Nine Inch Nails in there, just a little bit, not too much. But as of right now, I am very, very intrigued to listen to this album because it's very different from what I'm normally listening to, and I appreciate that.